It's Local Edition. I'm Brad Pomerance in San Diego County today, joined by Tim Nader. He is the new president of the Southwestern Community College District. Congratulations, Mr. President.
Thank you.
I want to speak with you about the election in November, focused on what happened in your community. There was a bond measure on the ballot for your district. It needed 55% of the vote to pass because it was an education bond. How'd it do?
It did very well. We had around 70%, so well in excess of the 55% supermajority required.
That is stunning. That's a stunning number.
It's really a reflection of the overwhelming support in our community for higher education.
What's also absolutely mind-boggling to me is the number of school bonds that passed up and down the state. Virtually no school bonds were defeated. And I was reading that in LA County, there were 25 school bond measures on the ballot and 25 passed. I mean, just uniformly, people are saying yes to schools. Prop 51, the state school bond measure, passes.
Right.
Read the tea leaves for me.
Well, I think what it indicates is that the citizens of California understand the importance of education to our future. Of course, many citizens have children of their own, and they're thinking of their own family's future. But
yet, if you think about it, a lot of the voters don't have kids at Southwestern Community College. You know, they may be retirees, they may have kids. So it's I don't know, heartening maybe to say that.
It's very heartening. Yeah. Southwestern College has always enjoyed strong community support and interest, and I see the overwhelming passage of Proposition Z as a continuance of that. It's also the only institution of public higher education in the South Bay region. Right. So for those who desire or need to get a college education close to home from the South Bay.
This is essentially Chula Vista.
Right now, Chula Vista, National City, Imperial Beach, Coronado, some of the unincorporated communities, Bonita, South San Diego, San Ysidro, Otay. We're it right now, and you know we are interested in working with the city of Chula Vista and with others to bring a major four-year university to the region.
Well, let's talk about that because you know we've seen some 4 years pop up. UC Merced popped up. San Marcos, kind of newish. I mean, relatively speaking. Right. Channel Islands, CSU Channel Islands.
Right.
What do you think?
Well, I would love to see a UC or a CSU in Chula Vista. I don't know that that's imminently going to happen.
How far is San Diego State from Chula Vista?
You know, I couldn't actually tell you in miles. I could show you on a map.
But by car?
But by car, if there were no traffic, probably about 20 minutes.
Yeah, but there's always traffic.
Always traffic, and there's parking, and so it's not. You know, quite frankly, the lion's share of our transfers to four-year institutions from Southwestern do go to San Diego State.
Think about this. Chula Vista as a city, and you're serving the entire South, 250,000 people. I mean, you can support, I would think, a CSU.
And the entire district for Southwestern Community College is almost twice the size of Chula Vista. It's
500,000,
450 to 500,000.
Right.
So yes, we could definitely support a four-year institution. I think the reason why a UC or a CSU hasn't been located there is primarily related to the state budget, not related to the need.
I hear you, but state budget's doing better. Prop 30 extension passed. Generally, the coffers are richer than they had been.
That is certainly true at the moment. There are some concerns among people I've heard from who are supposedly in the know about what the new federal administration may mean for the state budget.
Let's talk about the federal administration, if we may, because what we do know is that in the state of California, there are about 215,000, we'll call them dreamers, folks that filed under the DACA program, Deferred Action. They were brought here as children, and they are now adults, and they want to continue to live their lives in the country. 61,000 DACA kids go to California community colleges. They're scared. I mean, I'm not taking a position on DACA, but I just know they're scared. I mean, you're in Chula Vista. You can see Mexico. I hate to use that cliche, but you can see Mexico from Chula Vista.
Yeah, we really can.
Yeah, I know.
Unlike most of Alaska.
Exactly, from Russia. But so what do you, as you walk around campus, as you talk to kids, how are they doing?
So there's a lot of concern. We've hosted some forums. I attended a couple of those. we really don't know what's going to happen. The pronouncements from officials of the incoming administration have not been entirely clear as to what the approach is going to be.
I will concur on that. But what I will say is that while the pronouncements have been vague and somewhat prevaricating, the candidate was clear. The candidate specifically said a few things. I want a wall, I want to repeal Obamacare, and I want to repeal DACA. I mean, those words were said.
So what we're waiting to find out now is whether that's in the category of a true policy priority for the administration, or whether that's in the category of folks that played well before the election, but we don't care about it now.
I understand.
And some of the pronouncements of the campaign have been explicitly put in that latter category. Clearly, it's not feasible. It's not possible to deport 11 million people in a short time. But
here's a challenge. Here's a challenge, if I may. And I believe you're a lawyer, so help me with this. I used to be a lawyer. So when folks applied for the DACA program, they had to provide identifying information, name, date of birth, social security number, location. And about 750,000 got accepted. Now, I will mention 65,000 did not through screening. So now the federal government has their names, and they know where they live. So you want to start deporting, well, you got 750,000, you know exactly where to go.
And that's exactly the concern, and why there is so much fear and concern right now among DACA students and among the community in general, because keep in mind that these students, as you say, they grew up here. These are not people who chose to come here without papers.
Which
they
is
are
a
people
distinction.
who made no more choice about being here than those of us who were born here.
And the distinctions worthy of noting, folks like Republican Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina is looking to codify DACA. Remember, it's an executive action. So that successive presidents can repeal it. If it had been a law, that'd be a different animal.
Right, and of course we don't know what may happen with those kind of congressional initiatives, but it's very heartening to see somebody like Senator Graham, a major Republican figure, promoting that sort of approach.
Well, how far does Southwestern go to protect its students, presuming that's the desire?
Absolutely, that is the desire.
Well, do they refuse to turn over records? Do they refuse to allow immigration officials on campus? Do they state we're not going to accept federal funds if you make us do this?
We have adopted 2 resolutions now since the election to make it clear that we stand with our immigrant students, our DACA and AB 540 students, and we've taken actions prior to the election when individual students were threatened with deportation who were eligible for these programs to intervene and protect them. We'll continue to do that with I think every legal means at our disposal.
What about federal funding?
At this point, that has not been made an issue.
But it could be. I mean, I've spoken about this before. President Johnson used federal funding as a stick during the era of desegregation. President Trump could use federal funding as a stick in the era of deportation.
He would need congressional authorization to do that. And I don't think that authorization exists right now. That's not to say that it won't happen. If he makes it a priority, he could seek it. I don't know what this Congress might do in that regard. But I don't believe that's something he could do, the withholding of federal funds for those reasons strictly by executive action. That said, were such legislation to be adopted, that is something that we, and frankly the entire state of California, would have to look at.
Should be interesting. His name is Tim Nader. He is the president of the Southwestern Community College District in the Chula Vista region of San Diego County, where we are today. I'm Brett Pomerance. It's Local Edition.